Hi guys, this is Starcraft and welcome to another Starcraft film series. This is going to be match 2 of Group E round of 24 ASL season 13, and this is going to be our first Terran versus Terran so far in this tournament. I don't know about you guys, but I love TVT. I mean, I feel it to be very strategic, lots of mind games. I mean, it's kind of like chess. I mean, because StarCraft, I mean, people consider StarCraft to be a really strategic game if you think about it, because you have different races. Uh, you know, um, that kind of leaves a little bit of imbalances that cannot be solved by any means. So when you play chess, I don't know if any of you are the chess players here. Oh. Sorry, we're back. So I don't know if any of you are the chess players here, but when you play chess, because you have essentially the same pieces as your opponent, that kind of leaves a lot of room for you to kind of imagine what your opponent can do. And there's just really up to skills. There's nothing that's separate between the two players. It's up to how well you manage your expectation of the other guy's moves. How you can plan in advance and stuff like that. So TVT is kind of like that, and it's very positional, which is like what is chess, right? When you play chess, the position on the board is very good, because even if you play against the supercomputers, so far none of the supercomputers can predict every single move, because it's just so many permutations. So what the computers try to help you in the early and the mid games in chess is get the good position, trade well, and to make sure that the pieces are supporting each other. So that's what TVT is, I feel. You need to get the position, you need to cut the map into half, or 60%, 40%, or 2/3, 1/3, or something like that. And you need to, make sure that your units are supporting each other. Tanks is supported by turrets and mines and vultures and stuff like that. The only thing that you have in StarCraft TVT that you don't have in chess is drops. So imagine if you can just drop a bunch of castles and bishops right in your enemy's lines, and that's what the TVT is. So that is an element of that is very interesting. So anyways, looks like we have a slight divergence between the two players, and it's sorry, this is going to be on Eclipse again. I forgot to introduce. So JyJ is the white Terran at the bottom left corner of the screen, and Ssak is at the top right. So it looks like we have a small divergence. It looks like JyJ went for early command center, 14 command center, whereas Ssak built a barracks inside his base. So this kind of favors JyJ a little bit, because the barracks was not forward. If it was a forward barrack, or a proxy barracks even, that is going to be a lot better, I think, for Ssak. But unfortunately for him, he has gone for a very standard barracks inside his base. And is this SCV going to survive? Yeah, it survived. It can take 2 more hits from the Marine before dying. But it confirms that it looks like Ssak has cut his losses. I mean, not really cut his losses, but try to catch up by going for a command center himself. But JyJ is going to have an advantage. And let's see what happens when the first vulture, I feel, from Ssak gets there, because I think that's going to be the first key differences. Ssak is going to take his factory now. Let's see how late is the factory timing from JyJ. Okay, so not late at all, and maybe even at the same time, or a fraction a little bit earlier for Ssak. That's all. So that was a little bit interesting, because I thought when you go for barracks first and you take your gas, you would be able to get your factories first. But maybe Ssak just denied his gas. He's denied his gas until he planted down his command center. But anyways, we're going to be having 2 factory out for Ssak, and also 2 factory out for JyJ. So nothing separates the two. Also 3 marines each. But it looks like the barracks from Ssak has, well, I guess both of the barracks are moving towards the enemy's bases at roughly the same time, and they're roughly at the same equidistance from each other's base. So it's everything is very similar, but of course JyJ has a supply advantage, because his command centers was just a fraction earlier. This SCV is gonna be able to confirm that there are 3 marines, no bunker. Well, of course there wouldn't be any bunker, because Ssak was the one that is behind economically. This other SCV from JyJ also confirmed the number of marines, because he's gonna be thinking, how do I go in with the vultures? I need to check, does my opponent have supply depot blocking the path? Does he have bunker or what? A 4th factory going up for JyJ. Two vultures out for each of the players. And let's see if the vultures are going to be meeting in the center. There's going to be some marine here helping out Ssak with his vultures. Ssak is notoriously good for his TBT. I mean, he's played some excellent games, and I mean JyJ in to a certain extent as well. Both of the barracks are able to see each other's troop movement. Three vultures out for JyJ. Ssak has decided that he's going to be moving forward with two vultures and he's going to try to snipe the marine. One vulture is there. Okay, finally the second vulture is there to help. One marine died. No, not so much. It's a little bit of a careless mistake from Ssak. He could have sniped those marine, which was a little bit faster. These vultures from JyJ is getting corner, and finally Ssak is going to back up, and there's going to be a third vultures coming from both players. Four vultures from Ssak and only three now. Let's see who micros faster and better. The vultures are trying to engaging at it. One marine is still surviving for JyJ, so he's going to be using that marine to snipe that barracks. On the other hand, Ssak doesn't have any more marines, so his barracks, he's going to die out soon. I guess not die out soon, but maybe, well, now it's going to hide behind the ridge, and maybe the same thing is going to be happening with the vulture, the barracks from JyJ. Starport almost in near completion for JyJ. Let's see if Ssak has got an armory or well, no starport, no armory. He's building something in the corner. That's going to be just another supply depot. So he's going to mass vultures, 11, 12 vultures here for Ssak, and also this the similar amount of vultures for JyJ. The same amount of factories, 4 factories each. The fifth one is going up for Ssak right now. So let's see which player will will transition to tanks, because that is going to be the sign that the game is going to mid game. Otherwise, this vulture war, which is the just that the two players will be stuck in early game forever. Blinking already with add-on on the starport for JyJ. That means there's going to be a dropship. Let's see if he's going to put down 4 dropships. I'm sorry, 4 vultures in a dropship and going to try to do some economic damage in his opponent's base. This barrack sees everything and he can count the number of vultures are coming out of the factory. So JyJ is going to be just prepared and just on hold for a bit. Something the Terran Academies is there to block the path a little bit. He's laid some mines just to provide visions, but he's going to be careful because a lot of vultures are there. The first starport is coming out. It's going to be dropping 4 vultures inside Ssak's base. Ssak is moving a lot of vultures out towards JyJ's base, but he's got no tanks, and the first tank is already out. There's going to be a second tank coming out soon for JyJ. It feels like JyJ has a commanding lead on this map and also in these positions. A lot of vultures laying mines everywhere, and the drop is incoming about 15 seconds. Ssak has about 15 seconds to prepare for this drop. The second tank is already out for JyJ. Let's see if the vultures from Ssak are going to turn around when they see this drop incoming, or it's going to try to just go for an all-in, or just do what we'll see. The dropship arrives now, and one of the supply depots is about to spot it, and he's dropping all of the vultures now. Let's see if units are coming back. Yeah, so all of the vultures from Ssak is coming back. He's got 1 tank as well, 2 SCVs dead. The third one, very, very clutch. What is this? 1 vulture is going to try to harass his base as well. Hitting the supply depot for what? Okay, so these other vultures is going to die. Looks like JyJ is taking the opportunity of during this time to do a move out. He's going to secure this area, move this ram, clear all of the mines, and maybe cut the map into half. This is what I was telling you about the strategic importance of just cutting the map into half and creating a very, very good positional advantage. Looks like look at this, guys. So Ssak is behind by 30 supply. 30 freaking supply after that battle. Maybe not 30, sorry, 20 now. But in TBT, the supply differences don't matter. I mean, they matter to a certain extent if it's like 40, 50 supply difference, but 20 supply difference is nothing, because the dropship, positional play, and just good army management is going to be what determines the game. And if you look at the map, there's more red dots than there are white dots, which means at least Ssak has the kind of visual and the kind of map control advantages compared to his opponent. We're going to have the first battle here, just right outside of JyJ's expansion. Do we have any siege yet? No siege yet, and it's going to be Ssak that's going to take the high ground, and both of the players are sieging. Some vultures from Ssak is, just corner in the top side. Very unfortunate for JyJ. He kind of reviews his hand because this dropship got kind of spawned by that one SCV. This tank is going to try to lay something, and that's gonna splash damage on his SCV. I feel the rest of the vultures are not moving in. Now they're trying to move in. But JyJ is gonna pick up 3 of the vultures and going down to this expansion. Do we have something from Ssak? We have some vultures coming in to reinforce, and it looks like JyJ is not focus firing on his from his vultures. It's gonna lose the vultures kind of needlessly. Both the players are going to take the third base now. JyJ is taking it inside and floating it over, whereas Ssak is just bold enough because it's got map control. It's gonna take it directly at the 12 o'clock position. The dropship from JyJ is going to turn around now after losing all of the vultures without doing that much significant damage. Starport again now going to be for Ssak. Let's see if he's going to go for double Starport or just to counter the Starport threat from his opponent. Ssak is doing a huge move out with vultures here, just right outside the 9 o'clock position, just to clear some mines. It's going to back up because a lot of tanks vultures from JyJ is coming. We're going to have a huge battle. One tank from JyJ, but a lot of tanks and a lot of vultures there for JyJ, and the rest of the army from Ssak was destroyed. Ssak has a kind of grip on the high ground just outside of JyJ's base, but JyJ is gonna go around. He's gonna take the longer path and just gonna go around. And keep in mind, on Eclipse, these high grounds are not buildable. They don't have any kind of terrain that you can build with. It's only over here at the 10 o'clock position where you can build stuff. So let's see if that is going to be playing a kind of a difference in this game. And we've had some crazy ass Terran versus Terran action where the top left base was taken and retaken by so many players at different times. So let's see how that is going to be played out, and both the players are going to be sitting inside their base with soon to be 4 bases. JyJ has 40% advantage, but I don't know if that is going to be matter because it looks like JyJ is going to push over this ridge, and he's got the lower ground, but he's got the support of a lot of tanks. And is Ssak going to be able to resupply with enough troops and on time? He's going to back up with some of the vultures. The tanks from JyJ now finally arrive. Let's see who sieges first. It's going to be Ssak with the first siege. He's going to target fire the tank. He target fires on the tank, killing 2 tanks and losing 2 tanks in the process, 3 tanks in the process, and he's going to be losing this expansion because the expansion is in the range of the volleys of the tanks, and it's going to be JyJ with the base advantage. Is going to be taking 1 base up, and it was kind of unfortunate because Ssak kind of commit himself to the soft content just right outside of JyJ's base, but that soft content paid him nothing. It gave him no dividends, and it is losing this 1 base at the 11 o'clock position that's going to make a difference. Is Ssak going to switch to drop ships? I mean, that's the only thing that can bring him back into this game. And now it looks like JyJ is ready to break this contain. He's gonna put some mines out here and clearing out a lot of tanks. He's clearing out a lot of tanks and just losing a couple of vultures and not even a tank, I think, during that engagement. Looks like Ssak is gonna make up for this loss by taking the base at the 5 o'clock position. 2 tanks from oh my god, that one tank could have been surrounded by the rest of the vultures, but no. Looks like Ssak is going to try to retake the 5 o'clock, and JyJ doesn't know about it yet. If he knows, he can easily deny it because he's got some vultures. He's got 1 vulture with dropship at the 4 o'clock position. These 2 raids are trying to kill some of the tanks, but it's going to back up now because Goliaths have arrived. And let's look at JyJ's situation. I mean, he's no longer ahead in terms of supply. He's only 20 supply ahead. So what happened to his macro during this time? He kind of slipped a little bit, I feel. And now Ssak is going to move up, and he's going to retake this position just right outside of his opponent's expansion. 1 tank on the high ground, but one of the barracks from JyJ is able to provide vision, and the tanks from Ssak they're not aligned in the same angle. Okay, it looks like JyJ is going to take the top left base, so that base has 2 gas, and let's see how that is going to be played out in the future. Neither of the players have opted to go for dropship. That's very surprising for me. I mean, JyJ has 1 dropship, but he doesn't make more, so that's very surprising for me. And let's see, Ssak is going to finally saturate the base at the 5 o'clock position but that is just so close to JYJ's base. I mean, with one dropship or even two, he could easily wipe out that base. And let's see when does JYJ decide to switch to dropship and whether he's aware of that base. I'm sure he's aware because, you know, at this stage in the game, Terran players have a ton of scans. So battle cruisers is going to be what JYJ switches for, and he's going to search back in terms of supply once again. And looks like a lot of army from JyJ is going to be moving out here in the middle lane, but that lane is going to be blocked. Ssak probably has an idea about JyJ's battle cruisers, so he's going to decide what to do. Just gonna be making pure Goliaths or switching to battle cruisers himself. So far, no battle cruiser signs yet. One raid is about to provide vision, and a lot of tanks are going to coming in here for JyJ, but he's on the low ground. He's on the low ground, and these tanks from Ssak is going to back up just a little bit, and that is a smart move from Ssak. He's able to not lose the reinforcing forces and killing a lot of Goliaths and a lot of the tanks on the lower ground. And this is going to be a kind of split map situation, but this is not a mirror split because it looks like the divisional line is not going to be the 11 o'clock base. I guess the 10:30 or 11 o'clock base, just like the others. The division line is going to be this 11 o'clock base right here, and it looks like it kind of tips in favor of JyJ for a little bit. So JyJ is going to take this base. I mean, this is very rare for Terran versus Terran, for one of the players to come into the opponent's fourth base, you know, the default fourth base, and take it. So that is very, very interesting. And now the tank is going to be in vision of that command center. And we don't have any dropship from Ssak, because if Ssak had any dropship, he could easily put tanks on the high ridge and just share that position, because now JyJ doesn't have any kind of vision on that. The tanks from JyJ decide to move in here and clearing out a lot of the army from Ssak, and I mean Ssak is kind of slowly losing it, I feel, even though it's got 2 additional bases, but he doesn't have enough gas, and now the huge force from JyJ is gonna menace this area here. No tanks inside for Ssak. We have finally one dropship, some tanks out here, but they are not going to be providing enough support because they will be too far away. And it looks like Ssak is going to just evacuate the rest of his base. And these SCVs are going to do what? At least clearing some of the tanks. And finally, Ssak has, you know, established a kind of high ground advantage. 3 battle cruisers out for JyJ. This is going to be the end. This is going to be the end for Ssak. Ssak is even sacking, JyJ is even sacking SCVs, because he doesn't need any more SCV. He's kind of maxed out. He's going to be using all of his Psi to make battle cruisers, and we don't have any answers from Ssak. It's got a ton of minerals, but not enough gas. And look at this, guys. Placing what on here on the high ground, placing a turret just to provide vision. Ssak is going to be shelling the gas. Okay, it looks like here again JyJ is going to take the base at the 10 o'clock, and finally battle cruisers have arrived, and you know, no answers to those battle cruisers. The battle cruisers are going to hit the tanks on the high ground, and I think at this point Ssak should GG. Yeah, and he does. Ssak GG's, and it is going to be Soma versus JyJ in the winners match. See you soon in a few seconds. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.